Hello and welcome back to the Avoid the Tyrewall podcast. Today, Darcy and I are going to be talking about the Brazilian Grand Prix. Darcy, what were your thoughts?
I think it was a pretty hectic race. Lots of penalties and first lap collisions, really.
Yep, definitely. I was watching it live. I was trying to do my homework at the same time. And when Danny, Rick and Magnussen crashed, I was like, dropped my homework and was like, oh, this is stressful.
I know, especially as they'd just been speaking about how they got out of the first corner so cleanly.
Yeah, I was just like, this is just bonkers. And honestly, I love watching it, don't get me wrong, but it does stress me out. It's worse if you have like a mate or something in the series. Obviously I'm not friends with Formula One drivers, but it's just stress inducing.
I know. You think it's going to be like a nice enjoyable watch.
Yep. And then you're like having a heart attack. What do you think
I know,
about
especially
sorry,
first lap.
yeah. What do you think about the Max and Hamilton crash?
I I wasn't expecting Max to get the penalty.
No.
I was expecting Lewis to get it, but just I suppose we only saw a few replays of what happened rather than all the different angles.
Hmm.
So I thought that was interesting because it was from the safety car restart as well.
Yeah, to be fair, I thought it was more of a racing incident than just one of their
Mm,
faults. Um,
yeah, because I thought either Max is going to go off the track and like cut the corner, or he's going to collide with Lewis, and he obviously wasn't one to give in to
yeah.
going off.
Well, they are both rather stubborn, to be fair, aren't they? But yeah, I'm on a group chat and I said that I thought it was a racing incident and I got absolutely cancelled and was like,
Oh my god. Yeah, I suppose it was. I didn't think it was going to go down as a racing incident, but I think it just sort of depended how each different steward looked at it.
yeah, that's a good point.
And Max seemed quite calm about the penalty on the radio.
Yeah, I suppose if you think you've got it right, then you know you think you've got it right, rather
Yeah,
than because I think that the penalties have been few and far between.
yeah. Track limits has been a big one this year.
Yeah, that has been. But it's really weird because one lap they'll have one person doing track limits, and then in the next lap suddenly it's against the rules.
Yeah, I think it's quite amazing how they'll be driving the cars and they'll still be on the radio going track limits turn 4, track limits turn 6, trying
George
to out the
Russell.
other driver.
Yeah, George Russell does it quite often, and it does annoy me a little bit because it's like just focus on your own race and like shush.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to concentrate on that many things at once.
No, I'm a bit bad for like not paying attention, which
Yeah, especially when you're driving a 200-mile-an-hour car.
yeah, that is, and it's the fact that like they sometimes if they're like tearing the visor strip off, they do it with one hand, and I'm like, A, I can't drive because I'm too young, but like I can't focus on two things at once like that.
I know. Have you seen like Charles Leclerc, where he's like going through a chicane and he's like one-handing it while tearing off a?
Yeah, that's
I
bonkers.
That's insane. Talking of Charles, what did you think of him and Lando's crash?
Um, it was a bit of one of those insignificant ones, to be honest. I've sort of forgotten about it a bit, but I think when it was like obviously quite scary, but the fact Charles managed to like get back into the race and carry on was good. I think Lando, I think he was just having a bit of a bad weekend, and so was pushing too
I know.
hard.
Food poisoning, penalty, not finishing.
Yeah, that was. Wait, what did he have a penalty for?
Birthday.
Yeah, what a great birthday.
I know. Penalty, engine failure, electrical issues.
Yeah,
and then having to stay on the inside of the track for the whole race.
what are they called? And commentators were just like, um, oh, Lando's dropping down the order. Where's Lando? Because he like just wasn't there, and then it was like, oh, and
I
K
know.
when K Mag just sort of apparently he didn't know get his way back to the paddock, and people thought he was like actually lost and stuff, and I'm just like,
Yeah, he stayed. Apparently, he stayed on the inner track to watch the whole race.
that's a pretty. I wonder if Lando and K Mag saw each other when they were just looking all depressed.
I know. Both crashed out, or both. No, I suppose Landon didn't crash out. Both not finishing, and then I feel like imagine that you must be already really demoralised, and then you have to stay and watch everyone else go round.
Yeah, what do you think of George getting his first race win though?
I think it was a great weekend to get his win. I mean, he was quite clearly extremely dominant the whole weekend. I mean, he did great in the sprint, which obviously Kevin Magnussen on pole.
I was what was I was doing something else. I can't remember what. Oh, I was filming something, and then I opened my Instagram. Kevin Magnussen pole, and I was like, I feel like I've like missed something here, but
I know it all sort of happened at once because it was raining, and then he obviously got the lap in, I think, on slicks before the rain came down even heavier.
yeah,
And they were like, "Oh my gosh, you're on pole," and he was like, "No, you're joking."
yeah, I haven't actually watched quality highlights or anything, so
Yeah,
I
if you listen to his radio, he actually goes to his engineer. He goes, "No, you're joking," and he's like, "No."
it was just one of those you gotta be there moments. Like, imagine saying to Gunther Steiner at the beginning of last year when what's he called? Mazepin was there. Imagine going next year Brazilian Grand Prix. What's he called? Kevin Magnussen on pole for you. He'd be like, yeah, okay,
No, no way.
yeah, that's one of the wonders
But
of the world.
I know. Did you see George Russell on the phone in the cool down room to Toto
Yeah,
Wolff?
the commentators they were like, oh yes, that's probably his girlfriend, and they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not his girlfriend.
And he just shows his phone and it was Toto Wolff. I was like, oh my gosh.
Toto, what a weekend to have off, mate. Perhaps they
I
need to
know.
show off more often.
I know. One
Flex.
weekend you don't go, you get a 1-2.
I think that George really did deserve the win, but he's not my favourite driver, personally.
I think he's definitely I don't really know how to put it. I feel like being Mercedes is a lot higher pressure environment than it was at Williams.
Yeah,
Because at Williams, I suppose it's like when he came, I think it was in Belgium last year, when he came second because it was that unbelievable race in the rain. Like that was the biggest shock for Williams. And like Mercedes coming third, he's like posting about how he's disappointed. So you just think there must be such a change in pressure levels.
I feel like since going to what's it called, Mercedes, he's become a little bit like arrogant. I feel like he's always been a little bit up his own bum, but I feel like it's amplified since going to Mercedes. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know. I feel like you to be a Formula One driver, you have to back yourself.
Yeah,
And going to a team that has a 7-time world champion driving, it's a team that you almost he's like he said at the very start, he's not going to be second to Lewis. He wants to be the driver rather than the second driver.
yeah. I mean, Mercedes do say, "Oh no, we don't have second drivers," and it's like, you do, mate. Like, I hate to break it to you.
I know. I suppose when you've got a 7-time world champion and then a rookie, not he wasn't a rookie, but a rookie in a Mercedes,
Yeah,
you're bound to have your priorities. But I think as Lewis isn't competing for the championship this year, it's given George a lot more chances for points and not having to back off for Lewis than he would have if he was still competing for the championship.
Well, I mean, because Valtteri, when he was with Mercedes, he was the second driver, completely obviously. Even if Toto says no, what do you want about? But I like that Red Bull are open that Checo's the second driver, but I feel like Max should have let him through. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I feel like Max wasn't competing for the win, and he knew that that point wasn't going to make a difference to his tally.
Yeah.
And it now Checo and Charles are on even points going into Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty. Is that, I don't know, I suppose it'd be interesting to see how Abu Dhabi ends up. See, has that point completely impacted Checo, his standings compared to Charles? Because if now Checo loses to Charles, that's gonna come back to him.
Yeah. Did you see about the rumours that Mattia Binotto is leaving Ferrari at the end of this year?
I know. I was extremely shocked when I read that. I wasn't almost expecting it because it's like in football, like a manager sacked if they haven't had a great season. I don't think I'd ever expect it in Formula One.
Yeah, I feel like obviously in football there's hundreds and hundreds of managers and hundreds and millions of people even who know how to play the game. But in Formula One, how many people realistically know how to run a Formula One team? Like, I'd give it a bash, but
yeah, I give it a go. I think Sebastian Vettel to Ferrari.
oh yeah, that like they completely messed him over, but that is a good shout.
Yeah, I mean, driving or team manager, either one I'd be completely open to.
I mean, I don't think he'll be driving, but I was in public when he announced that he was retiring. I was sat there in a restaurant trying not to cry.
I know. I was sat in a reception of somewhere and I looked at my phone and it popped up. I was like, Sebastian Vettel got Instagram. And I went onto it and I was like, oh my gosh. I went to the German version at first, so I had no idea what he was saying.
Yeah, I think I did that as well because I'm not great at speaking foreign languages. I'm not great at speaking English either. And so I was just like, no, actually, I saw it on a group chat and it was a screenshot of the breaking Sebastian Vettel to retire at end of 2022 season. And I was like, nah, you're having me on. You're having a right giggle. And then I went, oh.
I know. I think I actually might have cried. I might have shed a tear.
I definitely cried when what's he called? Kimmy retired because it was on a Wednesday because I had to go swimming after Kimmy retired and I cried. And then Seb, I don't think I cried, but I did see an edit the other day and it was like that one song, really sad. It might be See You Again by Charlie Puth, but I don't think it was. And it was like, oh, what? Yeah, I think it was that. And it was about Seb, like, getting his first title versus now. And I was like, this is.
I know. I've seen so many similar to that this weekend. And just, it's like how it's saying it's his last lights out, it's his last checkered flag, it's his last media pen. It's like, oh my gosh.
And obviously it's sad Danny Rick's going as well.
I think he'll be a reserve driver.
Yeah, apparently Red Bull are interested. Mercedes are interested in Mick. I think Mick has been messed around so badly by Haas.
I so want Mick to have a seat. Like, I don't know, I feel so bad for him because I feel like Kevin came into Haas with such a bang, like getting points so quickly. And then I feel like Mick was left like, I'm trying, but I really want him to get that Haas seat.
Well, I've apparently I've seen, sorry, that what's he called? Hulkenberg is being considered, and
I saw that.
because Haas are taking so long to decide who gets the seat, Williams wanted to get Mick, and they didn't originally want Sargent, and so then because of Haas taking too long, they've got Sargent now.
What do you think about Sargent going to Williams?
So this could be really controversial, but like he seems like a nice bloke, don't get me wrong, but I do not agree with the fact that he supports Trump and he wanted Trump's slogans on his car.
Is that true? I saw that.
Apparently so.
I mean, I think he's obviously a very talented driver to be in Formula 2.
Yeah.
But I've seen people saying, what about, for example, I think he's third in the championship at the moment. I'm not sure where he is.
Yeah.
But
like
people saying, what about like Drugovich?
Yeah.
Who's literally won the F2 championship. Like where's his seat and things like that.
See, Drugovich is a bit like a Nick de Vries because Nick de Vries won. He's got a seat. Yeah, he's got a seat at Tyre. Yeah, Nick de Vries won it in his third attempt in Formula 2, and I think Drugovich has done the same. So people go, has he actually got talent, or is it actually like a load of crap?
I saw Nick de Vries in the airport.
Did you? Did you get a photo?
Yeah. No, I didn't actually get because it was actually in the line for security, so I couldn't just walk up to him and be like, "Can I have a picture, please?" But it was weird because it was Zandvoort. I went to the Dutch Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And you would expect him to be on like one of the Mercedes private jets because he's the reserve driver.
Yeah.
But he was just going through like Schiphol Airport like anyone else was, but obviously in his like Mercedes kit.
Who would have thought? I'm sure he's not short of like a few quid. So like perhaps
No.
Do you think he was going to like Ryanair, 19 quid seat?
19 quid seat. But I don't know where he was going to because he's Dutch.
He lives in Monaco though.
Does he?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that he lives over in Monaco.
I feel like that's where most drivers live now, isn't it?
Yeah. Monaco is very nice though.
I know. I would love to go. It's so expensive. It's a lot.
Yeah. I didn't see a Ferrari F40 when I was in Monaco though. I was bitterly disappointed.
I know the amount of cars like you see TikToks of like all these cars just driving through that hairpin.
It's mostly
just see one
500s.
I know.
God, I saw hundreds of them and I hate them with a passion. But
they're quite small. I suppose Monaco so small, roads are thin. Probably the perfect car.
Yeah. I did see Arthur Leclerc though, which
You did?
Yeah, so I was stood by a planter eating my chicken sandwich in Monaco. And he was with two girls and he walked behind me and he walked like straight past my dad and my dad doesn't watch F3, so he doesn't know who he is. And I'm like, that's Arthur Leclerc. And then I'm like, oh my God, like we've just seen Arthur Leclerc. This is amazing.
I love him. I want him to get Formula 2 seat.
I think he has, but I'm not sure.
Has he?
People think it's with Prema, but I don't think it is because I've heard of rumours that Vesti's going to Prema.
I think I really do want him to get a Formula 2 seat because I think imagine both Leclercs in F1.
It would be like when there was two Schumachers, how they had to have MSC and RSC.
Yeah. But Mick still kept MSC.
Yeah, it was like a tribute for his dad because in Formula 2 he used SCH and I presume in the other little formulas he used SCH. Oh, I pressed that. Oh, crikey. There we go. So yeah, I presume it's sort of like a tribute to his dad, but I'm a Michael Schumacher fan and always have been and always will be. So
Hmm. And like his reasoning behind his number, how it's like all their birthdays added up.
I was like, that is so sweet.
I know. And then how he said it's also can be like 4, 7. I was he's so nice. He deserves a seat next year, I think.
So innocent. Well, he seems innocent and pure, and he's just Mick, isn't it? It's
I
just
know. He's just and his helmet, I think it was Circuit the Americas with Gina and Michael on it.
oh my god, yeah, that killed me. I was just like, oh my god, this is adorable.
He just seems like oh, I love him so much.
Same. Like, he's my top three drivers. My top three are Seb, Mick, and Pierre.
Oh, what do you think about Pierre getting his 5 second penalty at the end of the race?
I think, what did he get it for? I genuinely can't remember.
Speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, I think he's just trying to get that extra penalty point, to be honest.
I know. I wondered. Because you think like, is he trying to get the 2 points so he goes into Alpine with a clean slate?
Well, yeah, because, well, apparently he's only got 1 point to get now, I've heard. And so
Mm-hmm.
I do think that, oh, what? My brain's not braining right now. I think it would be smart to go in with a clean penalty. Not clean. Yeah, a clean license. But where's the fun in that?
Yeah, but I mean, does he now like if he gets another point in Abu Dhabi? Does that mean he misses the first race next year?
Surely, yes. But then, how long do the points last for?
I think I saw someone saying that he's like out of the danger zone of missing a Grand Prix when it gets to Monaco.
That's quite far in, though.
Yeah, it's a how many races is it? I'd say it's 4 or 5 in.
I'll just have a look. I'm just googling it now. 2023 calendar. I can't read that. That's too small. 1, 2, 3, 6, eighth one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Gosh, that's a long time to go without a single penalty point.
If he can do it, all these haters better like repay their sins to him.
Yeah. I mean, good on him if he keeps that clean slate for so long.
Do we think he'll do it? No, but
No, there's no way you can't go 8 races without an incident. But he'll be here to prove us wrong.
yeah, I'm just like, um, I just that geezer. He's just Pierre's gorgeous. I have, I've got, I love Pierre, man. Over then.
Him and Yuki are no longer.
I know I'm a child of divorce. I have a signed poster of them both, to be fair, and it's
Really,
yeah, it's over there, and I still need to put it in a photo frame.
I have one on my wall of Fernando and Esteban. I
Hmm.
mean, they obviously don't really like each other anymore.
Nah, that the fact that Fernando was so horrible in the media, I was just like, are you having a giggle? You do not do this.
I think I think he just I don't know. I feel like Fernando's got so many years of experience that he's probably so done with anything.
I This is really controversial. I don't like Fernando. I don't know if you're a Fernando
You
fan,
know,
but he's just
I do like Fernando. I don't like he's not one of my favorite drivers, but I don't have anything against him.
yeah. Who's your favourites?
My favorite I mean, I hate that question because I list off like the whole grid.
Fair.
Um Lando Norris is probably my favourite.
Yeah.
And then I love the like Ferraris, Mick and Seb. And I don't know, I could go on. I'm like, because I really like Lewis, I like Max, which some people I say that they're like, oh, but I do really quite like Max.
I think Max is either like Max is just a controversial bloke because he is. I like the fact that he is open to say anything and like he says it how it is, but then sometimes he just doesn't think and just it's a bit stupid how what he says.
Yeah, I think I heard a podcast. I think was it a podcast or a video? I think it was a podcast with one of the drivers, and they say how you think on the radio you sound extremely calm, but you listen to it back and you're literally like shouting at your poor race engineer.
Yeah,
I don't think I don't think I'd be very good at controlling myself because if someone like crashed me out, I would absolutely lose it.
no fact. Like I would love to be a race car driver, but I'm 16, so I can't. Well, unless I start in cars like this year or like next season. Uh, and B, I don't have the money for it. Realistically, who can afford upwards of 60 grand per year to do?
I know it's an extremely expensive sport.
I feel like as well. I like when I'm a celeb, how some people you love them, some people you hate them. I feel like I'd say something really stupid and like mean it jokingly, but I'm not very good at sarcasm, and so people think I'm serious when I'm not. And I feel like I'd say something that comes across as horrible, but like it was a joke, and people would cancel me for it.
I know. I feel like it's so hard. Like imagine I couldn't do like a media interview every week, get asked pretty similar questions every week, and like be able to keep my head.
No, that's I'd be the same. Like, and I feel like if you're a female, you'd get the same questions every week. How does it feel to be a female against racing against these boys? This
Yeah,
question, this question, and you'd just be like, I'm not doing any more interviews. Matt
I
and
know. Like, did you see the clip of? I think it was on Drive to Survive with Daniel Ricciardo after Monaco. He had that bad race, and he was like, "How much is the fine if I don't do media?"
50 grand.
But it's an awful lot of money. But I suppose for them, it's probably like, is it worth it?
I mean, 50 grand is a hell of a lot of money. Like, think of the stuff um that you could do with 50 grand, let's be honest.
Yeah, I
Buy
know,
buy a crap car. Not a crap
but
car.
imagine, but like compared to how much they're paid, I feel like if you had an awful, awful day and you had that much money, that would be 50 grand you're probably willing to sacrifice.
Yeah. Well, I think that Formula One, right, how how Red Bull have gone over the cost cap, uh Aston gone over the cost cap. I think that instead of like, having to fire people from their jobs, they should just cut the driver's salary. Realistically, who needs 40 million quid in a year?
Hmm. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I wonder how much the mechanics and the hospitality, how much do they all get paid?
I do think, like, because obviously you're away from your home for ages and ages. Um, yeah, so you must get paid a fair. I'm gonna Google this now.
But I suppose is part of your like salary that you don't get, like you get the perks of going to all these different places.
I mean, I'd love. Oh, so I've got. Actually, it's quite a bit more than I'd think. Um, so the pit crew chief is on $10,000 approximately per race, and then if they win the race, they get
$10,000 per race.
apparently so. If they win the race, they get a $5,000 bonus, and the annual salaries $1 million. I think it says that the fire extinguisher man gets $500, and the annual salary is 30 grand. Which
I feel like the 30. I mean, I don't know what. So just for the, I feel like there's got to be more than just you just have a fire extinguisher.
yeah, you've probably got other jobs, but I mean, $1 million. Surely that's unrealistic.
But even 10 grand a race is 22 races in a year, $220,000.
Yeah, where do they get the other 780 grand from? No, I don't think that's.
That surely can't be right. That's like a lot. That's more than like Yuki Tsunoda's paid, I think. When I googled that before,
He was paid when he began 500 grand a year, I think, which
yeah,
is a nice amount of money. Let's just clarify that's a lot of money. But
yeah.
I do like the idea of traveling all around with F1, and like
Yeah, I feel like it would become like, because it's not like you're just traveling by yourself. You're traveling with a team of people who are all doing like what you love as well.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure the novelty would wear off after a while. But like, I can live my Wattpad moment from like a minute.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you for watching this week's episode of the Avoid the Tyrewall podcast. Be sure to let us know your thoughts on the issues that we covered today. And if anyone knows what pit crews are on, please DM us on Instagram. Thank you. Bye.